Joining me now is Lisa Bryant, director, Jeffrey Epstein, Filthy Rich, and Ghislaine Maxwell, Filthy Rich. And I'm glad you're here, Lisa. I understand you were at that news conference Wednesday. So what was your reaction to everything you saw and heard?
Well, it was a privilege to be there. And I have to say, it was, really emotional. It was a historic gathering. I was thrilled to be there to support these women who have been disrespected and ignored for so long. And I really learned there's power in numbers. The nation is behind these women, and they're fighting mad. They've found their voices, and they're not going to stop until justice is served. I really feel like this is the beginning of a bigger movement, a much bigger movement. I hope so. A real turning point and a source of empowerment for the survivors. They're taking back the power.
So, many of the survivors, they are frustrated with how this case was handled then and now. Let's take a look at some clips from your 2019 film. Here they are, everyone.
It was more evidence of the fact he was powerful and he could fix whatever thing came up.
This case was one of the worst failures of the criminal justice system.
There was no way that anybody could look at this and think this was okay.
There are enough survivors that refuse to give up.
I want justice.
I want justice. Is this the prevailing sentiment you hear from Epstein survivors now? And what does justice look like for them?
Absolutely. Sadly, I began working on this, and not sadly, but I'm happy I worked on this in 2018. But not much has changed since then. And so these women really have gotten no justice. The one little piece of justice that they've gotten is Ghislaine Maxwell behind bars for now. Their greatest fear is that that could easily be taken away at any moment. We don't definitely know there's a talk of a pardon and also potentially commuted sentence. So that to them is frightening. They're really afraid, and also afraid she gets out. There are some women that I talk to are afraid for their lives, that she's still, after all these years, going to come after them. And that fear is real in them, whether it makes sense or not now, with what she's been in jail, but it's a real fear that they have.
Yeah, but terrifying for them to consider that. Again, whether you say it's realistic or not. Is there anything, Lisa, that you learned while making your films that you believe should be highlighted for Congress to do a very thorough investigation?
Well, all the information is there in these files. I think that they need to follow through and really look at them closely and not, redact the names. Look at the names that have been mentioned by the survivors, who I, know that, they're putting together their own list potentially that hopefully someone else can maybe read on the floor that's would be protected. These women would be very afraid of litigation if they were to mention, these names, but there's financial institutions, the names, they just have to do their jobs. For too long, they've just ignored it, and it's too close to home, I think, just in every realm of politics. So this political theater that's playing out right now is very ugly. These survivors are tired of it, and they really want to keep the pressure on and keep this movement going, because I think there's already been since Wednesday an attempt, by the administration to kind of just shut it down.
So we've mentioned Ghislaine Maxwell, who, of course, is really at the epicenter of this investigation now. And here's how participants in your second documentary described her back in 2022.
She exhibits characteristics of a narcissist.
I believe that she didn't think she was doing anything wrong.
She knew she was going to make these high-powered men happy.
The scale of shock should be a great way.
So she's been transferred to a lower security prison after that 2-day interview with Assistant Attorney General and Trump's former personal attorney, Todd Blanche. House Oversight Committee ranking member Congressman Robert Garcia is demanding an investigation into that decision. What crossed your mind, Lisa, about that move? And what do you say to people who see Maxwell simply as an accomplice?
Oh, she's absolutely been convicted, of being a perpetrator, sex trafficker. She was a willing participant, and that interview, I think pretty much to anybody who knows anything, and even if you just hear it, it's a joke. I think it's a shame that it was an unprecedented interview. How that could happen. is really, I'm glad there's an investigation or a call for one into it, because it shouldn't happen. They should be talking to the women rather than Ghislaine Maxwell. And if, the fact that she was, it seems like she was rewarded by being moved to, near her family into a much lighter, country club prison is really an injustice to the survivors. I think you had another question in there that I didn't quite hit.
No, you're good. Do you have any theories why the DOJ refuses to release these files to the public, despite justice and FBI leaders widely calling for their release before being put in their current positions?
I think people are threatened. I think it's at every level of government. The cover-up began back in 2006, 7, and 8 when the FBI, had, 53-count indictment ready to go. And then Alex Acosta, cuts the sweetheart deal. The cover-up really began then. And I can't wait until September 19th when Alex Acosta gives his deposition. If he pleads the fifth, I think you'll see a firing squad from survivors. So I think that is a big key date coming up. Also, the Supreme Court is scheduled to rule on whether or not to even hear Maxwell's appeal of her conviction. I think that's not going to go in her favor. So it'll be interesting to see, what her moves are after that.
Okay. Director Lisa Bryant, thank you so much for your time. Good to speak with you.